So if we are not being kind and compassionate and respectful to ourselves, how can we expect somebody else to be?
Welcome to Sex and the Solo Girl. Join your host, her inner circle, and expert guests weekly for chats about dating, secure attachment, the solo lifestyle, doing relationships differently, and of course, sex. And here's your host, Janice Formichella.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode. So glad that you are here. And I'm so glad that we have back again Julie Demsey, one of the most active guest co-hosts, joining in from Sydney. Hi.
Hello. So happy to be back.
Me too. We have such a fun time doing these dating episodes. And one reason I enjoy doing them with you is you are, I guess, a bit of an expert, shall we say? Does that ring true to you?
Well, I would say personally and professionally, I have way too much personal experience.
Yeah.
And then I have professional experience as having written a book about dating and as a coach and a hypnotherapist. So
that's what I was getting at. I will include the link to the book in the show notes, as I always do. Let everyone know the title and also briefly how you work with people.
Okay. So I actually, because you always ask me the title, I brought it along this time. It's called Found, Swiping Right on Me to Find Love. So it's finding that self-love, some funny, kind of tragic dating stories and lessons. It's, I've been told, a really fun read.
Yes.
And the way that I work with people, I see clients one-on-one for hypnotherapy sessions to help them to break through limiting beliefs and blocks and barriers in any part of their life. And I do coaching as well, mostly mindset coaching, again, to help people get into the right mindset for whatever it is they're facing in their life, personal and professional.
And if you are struggling with maybe finding somebody to connect with, dating again, a breakup, any of that, mindset coaching can be very effective. I read the book, absolutely loved it. That's why I always plug it, and worked with Julie. So please go over to her website, juliedemsey.com, to connect with her. And if you are dating again after a breakup or still struggling with your breakup, please just go over to Instagram and hit me up. That's where I'm always hanging out. And let's get you some support right away, because I know that you can beat it. I know that you can learn a lot during your breakup and have fun dating again once you get it behind you. What would you say you most want people to get out of this episode?
Making sure they're in the right headspace to date and have a good time with it.
Please, everybody, go and check out what is possibly part 1 of this series, and that is Boy Sober. We dropped it just a few weeks ago. I don't remember the episode number. So please just scroll up into the feed. That was a really fun episode. And it's all about why to take a break and what to do during your break. We don't move on necessarily to dating again. So if you're thinking of taking a break, go. We really took a deep dive into the benefits of boy sober, girl sober, all of the dating sobriety.
And can I just tell you, I have a lot of people who've listened to or watched that episode, and boy sober is like the top lingo that they're using now. Every time I have a conversation, it seems to be way in.
I'm so glad. And hello to any of Julie's friends, clients, and otherwise. We really, really, really appreciate your support so much. Yay. Let's kind of go through reasons to take a break. We did cover that quite extensively in the first episode, but yeah, let's kind of have a review. I suppose the most obvious reason would be a lot of people feel just generally burnt out. One of my best friends, hey Kelsey from the neighborhood, used these exact words the other day without any prompting from me. I mean, to be honest, I don't think she'll mind me saying this. She hasn't even been back on the apps for all that long. She meets a lot of people in person, and just between the two of them, yeah, she was saying she kind of already feels burnt out from it.
Yes. And so just to talk about burnout for a moment. So and this happens in dating in all walks of life. We tend to think when we're feeling burnt out, we can just take a minute and everything will be better. Recovering from burnout takes longer than we think. And there are
Okay,
more things
thank
we
you.
need to do. So that happens a lot with dating. And I've done it myself too, where I've been feeling burnt out and then I'm like, no, I'm ready. And I jump back too quickly because we tend to think we have a good day, we're feeling good about everything, we're like, oh, life is good, and we jump back in, and we haven't actually taken enough of a rest or a break from whatever it is to recover. And so, my message is make sure you're taking care of yourself. And if you jump back in and you're like, you're not enjoying it, or you're feeling like, why am I doing this? You've got that negative mindset. Step back and say, okay, actually, no, I'm not ready yet. And it's okay to take a longer break.
And
Yeah.
let's also remember we aren't obligated to date. We aren't obligated to be in partnership. It's something that can add a lot of beauty to our lives, but you don't have to do this. In fact, Julie, you were mentioning that you, and I also think some of your friends are just kind of taking a little hiatus, if you don't mind touching on that.
Yeah, not at all. And I did exactly what I'm just saying not to do. Was I felt like I was recovered. I went completely boys sober. I'm like, okay, I'm great. I'm ready to go. And then I jumped back in and had another, not so great experience that had nothing to do with me and had to do with the other person. I'm like, I am so not ready to be here right now. Turn it all back off. I am 100% boy sober right now. Nobody in my mind space, nobody that I'm connecting with or talking to. We had a long weekend here in Australia, and I made a point of saying, I'm going to spend that weekend on my own, doing my own thing, doing whatever I want to do without having anybody else in mind.
Sounds so relaxing, actually.
It's relaxing, it's empowering.
Great. I hope that you have a lot of success and fun. A great reason to take a break. Nothing's going right. You find that the same thing is happening over and over again. I heard people saying this all the time. In fact, going back to friends and clients. One of my friends texted me the other day saying that she just finds that everybody she dates just wants to be friends. So that would definitely be a pattern and maybe a reason to start fresh slash take a break and think about what you need to do to create a bit of change in your life. Because let's, again, always remember that this is our responsibility, not the other people who we haven't even met yet.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it takes some self-awareness to realize that we are stuck in a pattern, and it takes some time to really examine, what is the common denominator in all of these past experiences and or my past relationships. So I encourage everybody to take the time to do that and to really make a conscious shift in your mind about how you want to go about this in the future. Set some boundaries for yourself as well as for the people that you're going to be interacting with, and stay true to those. Stay true to yourself.
And let's remember that having a boundary is one thing, but a boundary is only as good as the manner in which you execute it. So that also takes some practice.
Well stated.
One reason that I took quite a long break from dating at one point, which absolutely changed my life, was that I saw that I had a pattern of always looking outside of myself / seeking outside validation for not just satisfaction and not just feeling complete when it came to dating, but everything, helping, or my friends helping me solve my problems, my visa, my employment, my well-being, my housing, even at some point. And when I was able to stop and realize how non-self-reliant I was for even just my own confidence and just being okay completely on my own, that's when I decided to take a break. And also I was repeating the same patterns over and over again. Mine being, I went hella fast in the beginning, and then everything would blow up in my face, a number of months later. But most of all, I did see that that was part of the larger pattern of looking externally for things. And that also takes a lot of self-reflection. I didn't realize that I had been doing that.
We want to get to a point where we have everything we need within ourselves. But it's something we want to be able to connect with somebody, not for that validation, but to add some value to the great life that we've already created.
Yes, adding value. A person does not complete you. You are already complete. You might just not realize. And that's one thing that you can do whilst you're taking the break from dating, is work on that. And it might take you longer than you think. So really think about what self-reliance looks like to you, and do not let this time go to waste. It is not just about not dating. It's about taking advantage of the time.
It's about stepping into yourself wholly and feeling good about that.
And what I like to think of it as, and many other people like to think of it as, is quote unquote working on yourself. I did an episode on that, which I will also link in the show notes, but that also takes just a lot of intention, and also deciding what that looks like to you. So perhaps just your health, fitness, drinking more water. What is something that you've always wanted to work on when it comes to personal development, a goal, something that you want to tweak or change in your life? Is there a big life decision that you're making? Again, going back to someone who I'm working with currently, wow, something that he had been putting off, and after the breakup decided, gonna make the decision once and for all. Life changed. It's been an honor to watch. Some people want to, start meditating again, or focus on their spirituality, any number of things, but choose something. Don't spread yourself too thin here. Let's pick something and really give our all to it.
Yeah. And I love all of that. And I'd like to add an exercise I often have clients do, is just simply think, what do I want to do today? What do I want to do next? What will make me happy? What is a small decision I can make? It can be as easy as what am I going to wear today? Because often we're dating, we think we're going to put this on to impress something else. What do I want to eat? I have a free Saturday. What do I most want to do? Do I want to read a book? Do I want to take myself out for an ice cream for dinner? Do I want to go for a walk at the beach? Open it up, and just that simple thought of thinking, what do I want? What will make me feel good is a great way to start exploring and get to the point where you can say, here is the new hobby or activity or the thing that's going to feel good health-wise for my body.
And also doing all these things for yourself, which is going to boost your confidence big time. If you work from home, or regardless, do yourself up each day. It makes such a difference. And again, you're doing it for yourself just because it's going to feel good. I encourage people to do that during your single time, for sure. Don't just get dressed up when you're going on a date. I mean, I even know some people who don't even get dressed up just to go and hang out with their friends. Do it as many days a week as you feel compelled to do so. So we've taken advantage of the single time. We have been intentional about it. How do we know that we are really ready to date again? Other than the fact that you haven't had sex for a while. Because
yeah, sometimes that's reason enough. Like if that's something you're really craving, if you're sitting there going back to what we were just talking about, saying, what do I want to do today? And I want to be able to have sex with somebody else. It might be time to start dating again, right? But we need to be intentional about it. If we're not necessarily ready to get into something more than just an afternoon of delight or an evening, be intentional that that's what it is. And maybe that's just a one-time thing or a one-time person. And we continue to take that break, right? You don't have to jump in wholeheartedly if that's not what you're ready for. I would make sure that you've got the right mindset and that right feeling. We were just talking about feeling strong and confident within yourself. And so I think that to me is the number one. I feel good about myself. So make sure you are fully in that mindset where you're feeling good about yourself. You've recognized what those old patterns were. You're no longer feeling burnt out. And you're excited by the prospect of meeting new people, of going out on dates. You fully understand that you don't have control of the other people out there, and something not so great might happen, or something fantastic might happen, but you believe there is that possibility that there's a good person out there that you're going to meet.
Yes, that is one of my top tips, is just being generally excited about it. We mentioned taking a break because you're noticing that things are generally not working out and the same things happening over and over. But have you really identified what that is? And so you may want during your break to do something like love mapping, which is kind of going through your past relationships and seeing the patterns, because really it's not just about recognizing that things aren't working out. It's recognizing why. So let's make sure that you take enough time to do that while you're single.
That's sometimes hard for people to do on their own. And that's the time to give Janice
I love working on this with people, and it actually can be a lot of fun, very empowering. And like I always say on both of the podcasts, be single, I think, just long enough to enjoy it before you get quote unquote back out there, just because I want everybody to know that you'll be okay on your own. If you're okay on your own, then you pay attention when someone is violating a boundary of yours that you are aware of because you did the work, or red flags, or just when it's not going well and you maybe feel that you're forcing it, you're able to walk away easier and therefore have a better time dating, and therefore ultimately make better connections. So really be jazzed up and excited about being single, and you'll then know that you might be ready to get back out there.
Yeah. And to that point too, adding on to that, when you said you'll kind of recover quicker when something isn't working, give yourself credit, give yourself that pat on the back for the growth that you've experienced. Because I find so often with clients, they forget to congratulate themselves. They're like, oh, I'm right back where I was. I'm like, yes, but you get right back to where you were, but you recover quicker. It impacts you less. And they're like, oh, now that I think about it, you're right.
You've broken a pattern because you walked away from something.
Yeah.
And that is, yes, absolutely fantastic. Please remember, once you're starting fresh and getting back out there, you're not meant to connect and get married with every single person you meet. You will walk away from more things and more people and possible connections than you will make. But yeah, chalk it up to having funny stories. Julie wrote an entire book about it. And so if something doesn't work out, and again, I'm using air quotes, once you start fresh, don't say that it's a failure. Don't say that you're back to where you started. See what your attitude is when you walk away. See how you bounce back from it.
It's shifting your mindset about that. So instead of saying this is something negative, from each experience, what did I learn? Did I learn something new about this person? And I love to say, add into it, is there something that I added? Even if I didn't like this person and it's not somebody I want to continue to, did I add to their life in some way? And how did they add to mine? If you look at it that way, you've got a whole new perspective. Instead of saying, like, I had a guy that I went on this amazing date with and had this fabulous dinner at this great restaurant. Not long after that, he stood me up on a date. And that was the end of that. And I'm like, how could that happen? Well, I can look at that and say, I can't believe this guy did this. Or I can say, I had this fantastic experience I wouldn't have had otherwise, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Perfect. And also you do have a smile on your face as you're telling the story. And so yeah, one thing that I would say is learn to laugh it off. Go and tell a friend how, it didn't work out and that it was kind of funny. I had a friend recently text me about a pretty bad experience that she had with going on a few dates with someone. I'll leave it at that. And she was chuckling and talking so lighthearted about it as we were texting. And I had to point it out. If this had been a year and a half ago, you would have been absolutely devastated. That's the progress. That's why we take breaks.
Yeah. And do remember, you might feel devastated for a moment, but that moment will go by quicker. And the most important thing to remember is this isn't you. It's not that you're not valuable, you're not worth it. This is somebody else's bad behavior. And one of my favorite phrases is, don't make somebody else's bad behavior your problem.
Love it. We did an excellent episode on ghosting, which was really popular with breakups, broken hearts, and moving on. Again, I will link it. And we talked all about what to do if it happens to you. We won't focus too much on this, but maybe go and check that out as well. It is horrible behavior and it might happen. So let's be equipped for when it possibly does. Go and look at that episode. It was really a bit of a primer for, I don't know. I think if you're more prepared for ghosting, you'll be just generally more laid back about dating. So go check that out. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we have 5 ways to start fresh. You've taken a break, and it's not necessarily about getting back out there. So let's make it count, make your break count, and actually start fresh.
A lot of you know that I am a breakup coach. But did you also know that I work one-on-one with singles to maximize their solo chapter of life? My program, Single and Secure, offers customized packages that include things like becoming securely attached, visualization and manifestation for the future, learning to embrace and love your single life, getting ready to date again, self-pleasure, preparing for your next relationship. Let's have a chat to talk about how Single and Secure can add fun and power to your life. Schedule your free intro call using the link at the top of my show notes.
Welcome back, everyone. 5 ways to start fresh. You don't want to start back up until you've really made the most of the time, made sure that you're really ready to get back out there. Of course, that's subjective and up to you, but that's what we covered in part 1. So how to actually start in a fresh, brand new way. One of the potentially most obvious things is go about meeting people in a new way. So if you are using an app, I think it would behoove you to use a new app.
Definitely. Try a different dating app and update your profile.
Yes.
Change your pictures. Change what you had to say about yourself, right? So that you're coming at it from a new angle. You've learned new things about who you are, who you want to be, how you want to show up, how you want to interact. So reflect that in your dating profile. Come out strong with that.
New photos, new everything. And again, this is one of my favorite things that I do with clients. My clients have amazing success with the profile update that I help them with. So a new app. And
I might have to talk to you about that myself.
I would absolutely love it. I have a whole formula for what to write in your bio. I take a look at people's pictures, the way that they answer the questions, their filters, all of it.
Amazing. I love it.
Are you only using the apps? I know that after decades of having apps and online dating, people might think that that's the only way to do it. but really start to consider ways in which you might put yourself in a position to meet people in the wild. If that's been a success for you in the past, like it might be for someone like me who's used to approaching people in public, or being approached in public, shall I say. Let's freshen that up as well. Can you go to new places? Can you come up with a new strategy? Can you join a meetup group? One of the tips would be think about the type of people you want to meet, and then think about where they congregate. That sounds very sterile, but it's about putting yourself in new places to meet people.
Yeah. And then I would add to that and say, be bold. You say you're used to being approached, go and approach somebody.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't matter gender, orientation, whatever. Be bold. Go and talk to somebody new. Approach strangers. I actually give this as an exercise to clients sometimes and say, your exercise is to talk to one new person every day.
Every day. Woohoo.
Every day. So it might not be, especially for people who are a little bit timid about dating, or about, or I do this with people in business as well. If they're not finding it natural to make conversation in meetings, or to go out and to set, if they're needing to do some selling, whatever it is, just start talking to a stranger somewhere every day. It might be in line at the grocery store. Just strike up a conversation. And I would say, if you feel uncomfortable talking to or approaching somebody you might be interested in romantically, start practicing by talking to the gas station attendant, to the person standing next to you in line at the grocery store, whatever it might be. But get used to talking to somebody new and feeling comfortable with that, and work your way up to going up to the cute guy, for me, the cute guy, because I date men, going up to the cute guy at the grocery store and asking him a question, or, the cute guy walking down the promenade by the beach and, talking to him about his dog, or showing him that there's a whale out there to take a look at. Just whatever it is.
You live a nice life, if that's what you're pointing out. Look, there's a whale.
It is pretty cool. I'm not going to deny that. I'm very blessed to live where I live.
That's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, but you get the point. You can strike up with a conversation with anyone, anywhere. Smile at somebody. It could be that.
I was going to say, first of all, your confidence will hopefully be boosted a little after taking advantage of the single time. And every time that you say something to a stranger, start a conversation, etc., you will become more bold. And two of my tips for kind of getting in the habit of this is just walk around with a smile on your face. I know that this might feel uncomfortable, but it makes a difference in your mood, and it creates a snowball effect that you feel more comfortable talking with people and giving people a compliment or something. And yeah, like I said, it might feel goofy. I'm a pedestrian. I don't have a vehicle. I seriously walk around with a huge smile, and I don't know, give that a try. And also practice using eye contact and making eye contact when you're out and about, which I think a lot of people might be surprised might actually be more uncomfortable at first than they think. Or maybe people already know that it's uncomfortable for them, but give it a shot. If in a restaurant, look someone in the eye and smile. When someone's talking with you, make sure that you look them in the eye. It'll go a long way to helping you get to the point where you're approaching people or being more comfortable being approached. That's another thing. I think that a lot of people are uncomfortable and intimidated or confronted when being approached and don't quite know how to respond, or just feel awkward, or think that maybe someone has the wrong motivation or something, and don't necessarily take advantage of that. It just occurred to me.
So I think that's all about setting the right mindset. So set the mindset of curiosity. Instead of being concerned, why is this person talking to me? What is the same thing I was talking about on a date before? get curious about this person who's talking to you and what can I learn from them? What might I know? And it might be, I've learned very quickly, I don't want to talk to this person. I'm going to move on.
Sure. And please, you do
And
not have
that's
to talk
okay.
to everyone who approaches you. As somebody who goes out on their own fairly often, when I'm with my laptop at my pub, I really have it for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when people try to approach me, I do have a boundary around that. So I want everybody to know, definitely. And also, sometimes it just feels wrong, and I listen to that.
Absolutely. Listen to your intuition. And
Yes.
at the same time, don't be overly critical or cautious, especially if you're in a public place where somebody's not going to, abscond with you or do something.
Good point.
Right. But we do want to hold our boundaries. So if you're sitting in a pub and you're working and you really want to spend this time doing that, you're not sitting there smiling and looking around at people, right? You're in your computer. So you've set kind of the parameter for what that is. However, if somebody needs a computer or a book or a phone to feel more comfortable being somewhere, and that's really kind of their guise to get out there, use it, but also make sure you're looking up and smiling and saying hello so that people know that you're available. So it's setting the context for where am I? Am I open to being approached? If you're walking along smiling, that's great. That's a great start. But also when you're making eye contact, say hello.
Yes.
Give
a compliment.
Give a compliment. That's a great way to do it. You don't necessarily need to do more than that if that's all you want to keep it at and keep going. It's all about that practice, setting the right context, setting the right boundaries, and sticking to that. If your intuition's telling you something isn't feeling right, excuse yourself and move on.
And again, that's about learning largely about how something feels in your body. And thank you for saying about bringing a phone or a book, because I suppose I am sort of assuming that someone might be comfortable going out on their own. Use your break as a chance to get comfortable, because honestly, I keep on using life-changing and game changer, but it really can be. And one of the tips I give to my clients, if they're just not used to it, think it might feel weird, is use your phone as a little bit of a comfort measure or security blanket. And you can scroll on your phone to a certain extent if you think that will help you feel or look more occupied. There's nothing wrong with that if it helps you get more used to going out. But again, make sure also that you're practicing using eye contact and that sort of thing. Or a book. Yeah. If it's going to help you get out there.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah. And, another tip that I like to suggest is setting yourself up with that right mindset by you've created what your new boundaries are. Create some nice mantras for yourself.
Okay.
Right? So every day you're waking up and saying something like, I'm really happy, I'm in a great place, and I am ready to meet somebody who's going to add value in my life, and I deserve that. Right?
And you do.
So you're setting that intention out to the universe for what you want. You're reinforcing that every day. I'm inviting an amazing new person into my life, and I'm so excited to meet them.
I will go on my IG and do some posts around this if somebody wants some tips, and I'll tag you as well. Yes, what will your mantra be? We'll help get you started over on Instagram. That's a great tip.
I find sometimes people can get uncomfortable with saying things like, I am deserving of an amazing partner. Now, first of all, I want to say everybody is deserving of an amazing partner, unless you're a shit person. No, just kidding.
Well, I mean,
there are some of those out there, right? But if you're not comfortable saying, I am deserving of an amazing partner, you can say something like, every day I realize more and more I am deserving of a great partner. Because that doesn't feel as strong. right? And I'd encourage everybody to be able to get to the place where they say, I know I am deserving. But if you're not 100% there, every day I am feeling more and more like I am deserving of an amazing partner. And then you'll get to a point eventually, hopefully within 30 days, where you say, you know what? Let me change that mantra. I know I am deserving of an amazing partner, and I am attracting that into my life.
Confidence is a journey. Thank you so much, Julie. Great tip. I love the power of affirmations. I am actually a teacher on Insight Timer. Go and check my stuff out. Let's talk about freshening up your appearance. That might be a great way to get back into things, feeling just generally fresh and clean, I suppose. That just kind of came out. I mean, think about it. Doing your hair a different way, getting a haircut, dyeing your hair, this type of thing, you will literally be starting fresh and brand new. You're gonna have new hair. I do believe strongly in the power of feeling confident because you've paid attention to your physical appearance. I do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like there are other ways you can do that too. It might be just going and getting a massage,
Oh, okay.
facial,
Mhm.
or telling yourself, like changing what you're eating to, I deserve to have only healthy things coming into my body, and therefore I eat only healthy things. And so you're feeling better about yourself in terms of that, and that's going to show from the inside out.
You will have more energy as well. Think about, yes, one thing that you might either do to care for your body or to change up, like I said, your physical appearance. I'm a big fan of the eyelash extensions, ladies. You will be amazed what it does to your confidence. Yes, I almost can't go without it. I just try it out. It's definitely not for everyone, but I say, yeah, that could be just one more thing that you do while you're single is, like I said, try something new if you haven't done it before. And let's get some new outfits. People like to dress up on dates, probably almost everyone. So I think it's fun to maybe have a couple go-to first date outfits. Yeah, maybe get a new one. And
Yeah.
plus it'll just be fun.
Yeah. Or play around in your closet and put two pieces together that you've never
Great.
put together.
Thank you. Yeah, wonderful. Have fun with that. Just try it out. Our fifth tip is something that all of you are already doing, but maybe could do more of, and that is seeking out more quote unquote advice. Let's get excited about dating. Let's learn new ways of doing it. It could be consuming more dating related content. There's lots of great podcasts about dating. This is one of them. If you want more recommendations, come to me. Breakups, broken hearts, and moving on is a lot to do with dating again after a breakup. Sex and the Solo Girl is about just general dating, healthy relationships, becoming securely attached, all of that. There's some really cool stuff on YouTube. There's books, and of course, finding a coach. Let's get some reinforcements and definitely getting new perspectives on things, new opinions. Like I said, new advice is going to help you do things in a new way.
With the coach, you've got somebody in your corner that is helping you to find those new ways, but also your best cheerleader and your best support.
Yes, and being able to have somebody to go and talk to about all of your dates will make you generally a little bit more excited about it, and maybe if there's a bump in the road, help you laugh it off. It really makes such a huge difference. It's so fun to see so many dating coaches out there. So Julie's going to help you with your mindset. I'm going to help you with the practicalities of it. Please get in touch. Just to recap, 5 ways to start fresh with dating. Change up the manner in which you're meeting people. So that could be using an app, new places to meet people in person / out in the wild. Number 2, be bold, talk with strangers, start to smile at people, approach someone, look people in the eye, that type of thing. Go somewhere on your own. bring your phone if you need to. Develop new strategies with clear, positive mindset, mantras, this sort of thing. Go check out my insight timer. Go and look at Julie and my Instagram. We're going to be dropping some mantras there. Think about freshening up your appearance or perhaps your physical health, and get more advice. Consume new, happy, healthy dating content, or get a coach to back you up.
And if I can add to that fifth one, stay away from negative content.
Sure.
Right.
Can you give an example?
Well, there's somebody like there's a lot of funny dating memes that are somewhat negative, or there might be people that you talk to that are, or follow that are always negative about dating and what can happen.
And men, which bums me out.
Yeah, or saying like there's no good people out there or whatever it is. Stay away from that content. Let that go. Stay with the positive content that's going to support where you want to go in the direction you want to go in.
And you may not even notice that you're following it because some of it is supposed to be funny, but I do not like the accounts that just generally trash men. I think men are wonderful. There's a lot of magical, supportive, good guys out there, and it's not cool. So maybe, yes, pay attention to the attitude of some of this if you are a female listening.
Pay attention to your own words as well.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who's saying, like, I have somebody who constantly is saying there are no good men out there, there's no this, there's no that, your brain focuses on what your words are and you are attracted to that. So if you say there are no good men out there, you are not going to see any good men out there. If you say, and this comes into the mantras again as well, but if you say, I believe there is an amazing person out there for me, you're going to be focusing on looking at that versus saying, I've had so many bad experiences, I don't think there's any good men. You're going to have another bad experience. So be careful about your thoughts and the words that you use. Be very intentional about that.
And to all my male listeners, I absolutely adore you. To all of the men in my life, I absolutely adore you. I am choosy about who I surround myself with. And I want to give a shout out to every man who's in my life right now because I love you and I respect you and you respect me and I'm lucky to have you.
Yeah, there's a ton of great men out there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And yes, if you're listening, thank you so much. Julie, yay, this was fun. Are you ready to start fresh, my dear? Or what?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Not today, but I have all of the information I need to for when I am. And I'm the only person who can judge when that will be. For now, I am 100% enjoying my solo time.
She's serious, everyone. She is loving it. She's kicking ass. Well, thank you to everybody who joined in today. I really, really, really wish you all the luck, no matter what chapter you're in. If you're single, if you're considering being single, if you're feeling burnt out, if you're getting back out there, if you're in the middle of it, I am rooting you on. We're both rooting you on. Right, I'll see everybody next week.
Thanks so much. It was great to be here.
Thank you for listening to Sex and the Solo Girl with Janice Formichella, the podcast for those who want to add more flavor to their relationships with themselves and others. If you liked today's episode, make sure to head over to Instagram and let her know. See you next week.